Hello again and welcome back. This is, I think, episode 4 in how to deal with multi-servo wings. And in this one we're just going to take a brief look at combining normal flaps on your 3-position switch with a little bit of proportional crow braking on the ailerons. For example, a lot of jet modelers find that just a little bit of up aileron helps the jet models land more successfully. So we're going to look at adding in a little bit of crow aileron on a proportional control for you to adjust, building on the last episode, episode 3, where we set up the flaps by flight modes with nice big travels. Okay, let's have a look at that. So we'll go back into menu, into fine tuning, back to the butterfly flaps menu, and as I say, we're building on what we did in the last episode. Pardon me if you hear a noise in the background. It's an Airbus A400 transport plane of our glorious Royal Air Force tootling around. Most unusual. This is a Friday afternoon. The aircrew are usually in the bar by now, or they were now, my day in the Air Force. So much for the modern mob. Where were we? Yes. We're going to set up a little bit of crow. So we've already set up, as in episode 3, our flight modes. We've got the default normal fly around, takeoff mode and landing mode. It's separate by flight modes, and each flight mode has been set with the control to log max, so they're always on. If we looked in ailerons, flaps adjustment, we could see by individual flight mode there where our flap settings, and it's all slowed down. To get the crow on this occasion, we're going to leave the ailerons at 0% in all flight modes. We're going to come down here to tuning, and we're going to set a control, and this is, I'm going to use P6, which is the side slider on the left of my transmitter, and it's important I do it in land mode, because it will only work in landing mode. If you want it to work in the other modes, you'd have to set them up individually as well. So I should prove this. Just going to P6 there. That's good. We want it proportional, as it is. We don't want it centered, because we want to go from 0% of crow up to, full crow. But I want to reverse. Do I want to reverse it? No. I've got the lever up, which is where I want no crow, and lever down where I will want the maximum amount of crow. If you wanted it the other way around, just press reverse. Okay. And I'll come down to ailerons. And just while we're thinking about it, I told you to do it in each flight mode. See, we're in landing mode. We've assigned P6. If I move to takeoff flap mode, there's no control anymore. Same with default mode. If you wanted it in those, you have to set them each individually. So we're back in landing mode. We'll come down to the ailerons, and I'm going to go into that value. I'm going to push my P6, my control, to the maximum. So this is where I want this is where I want the maximum crow. And if I bring the camera around and show you there's the flap. At the moment, nothing happens to the aileron servo. Aileron, flap. So there's normal flap, takeoff flap, landing flap. Remember, we've got the value here, and I'm going to start turning that value and watch what happens. Oh, there we go, aileron going up. If it was going the wrong way, then you just go to a negative value to make your ailerons move up. But as it is, I want a positive value. And just for the sake of argument, I'm going to set it to, let's say the maximum crow. You wouldn't want a huge amount of crow, it could be pretty small, but for this purpose of demonstrating, so you can see nice big travels, we'll set it to 100. There you are. So that's with the crow lever at max. There. Now, if I move my lever back, the aileron servo comes back to neutral. can show you if I move the flaps to takeoff mode with the crow apparently off. There's the aileron servo. It shouldn't move because it should be at neutral. There we are. So normal fly around mode, crow, no effect. Takeoff mode, flaps have gone, elevator servo's gone to its trim position, crow, no effect. Landing mode, little bit of crow. I can just ease it in as I need it. Find that. As I say, you probably want nothing like 100% travel, because it would be just too much. You set it, say, to 50, and then this would give you proportional between 0 and half, or even less than that. Give you a nice little bit of crow. And once you've found a value for it, you can always set it up on a switch, so you could just switch it in and out as you needed it, maybe, or just leave it on the slider with a maximum setting that's sensible, and then you can just whack the slider to the full crow and you'd get what you want.